Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is Wednesday. It is the club call. Thought about not doing this today, I'll be honest. Thought about just having a normal show because it is International Week, but why not? We may as well. There's nothing major to talk about in terms of headlines for the show. But thanks, Ned. So therefore, it's just Everton Club Call. So if you want to call in, you're a Premier member and want to call in, then do it. Yeah. Come and do it. I'm joined by John in the studio. We are here waiting to take your calls. If you're a Premier member, if you've got something to say, do it. Do it. Adam, the time for this show is 5:05. It's never 5 o'clock. It's 5:05 on a Wednesday. That's when we start. So, yes, we have been on time because I think you'll find we were on time then at 5:05. There you go. John, how are we? You all right?
Smashing.
You okay?
Not missing Ped, are you?
Well, he's having a nice
having a better time than us.
He is. He's in warm climes. He's having a nice break.
Yeah,
so
his
good
photos
luck.
Have all been, t-shirt weather.
Exactly. He's loving it. So fair play to him.
He's gone into Paris itself today.
Nice. He loves a bit of Paris, does Pedro.
So they've done the tick on Disney.
Yeah.
Because he was doing Disney and then he was going into Paris itself. So.
See, I'm not a lover of Paris, I'll be honest. It was all right when I went there. It was okay. I'm in no rush to go back there. But other people, Ped absolutely loves it.
Never been.
He loves it. Have you never been? No?
I've been transient and going through it, and I've driven through it on a motorbike. But
no, never stopped and done the sights. No, I mean, it's decent to go and see.
It's on the list.
Sacré-Cœur and
that it never gets to just means lots of other places.
Well, exactly. But he loves it. He absolutely loves it, which is fair.
Helps that he's fluent in French, doesn't it?
Well, that's it. That's what he's fluent in something. But yeah, I'm sure he'll love it. One bit of news today is Andros Townsend, former Everton midfielder or winger, has signed for Luton on a short-term deal. Because obviously he was a free agent.
Compare notes with Ross, can't
yeah. So good luck to him. Obviously had a terrible injury.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him back and available. So fair play to him. Hopefully he'll do well there, excuse me. Not at the expense of Everton, obviously. But hopefully he'll do well there. And another former Everton player, Wayne Rooney, is the new manager at Birmingham City. I actually think he'll do well.
Yeah, he's put some good guys around him as well.
Yes, I think he'll do well there. And a few people saying this is an audition for Everton. To him, isn't it? If he does well. And then Everton have the opportunity to get him in the future. Brilliant.
It'll be contract up.
It'll be because
does what
2.5 years, wasn't it?
Many managers haven't done and actually
sees a contract out. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I think Wayne's got the opportunity. Big club, Birmingham City, well supported club. He's got the opportunity to go in there. It's already doing all right. They're 6th in the league, so he's starting from a good base. Got some good people round him.
Won the last 2 games at home. Boom.
Yeah. So fair play to him. And
7 goals.
Hopefully he'll do well.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll do well. Just wondering why I'm doing the talking and the camera was on you, but that's fine. It was.
Okay. I never look up there because it gives you a crick in the neck.
Classic, isn't it? Yeah, so good luck to him.
Last time I looked, it was on you. So maybe he had it the other way around.
Yeah.
When you stop talking, he puts it on the other fella. See? It's me. Oh, that's you.
I mean, personally, I just have it the 2-shot, but that's why I'm here and he's behind there. Yeah, so good luck to him. I'm sure he'll do quite well there as well. So,
yeah.
Good.
Interesting one for the owners there, because they've got a guy who's got them to 6th and doing okay. But allegedly they don't like the style of play. Therefore, you're almost saying straight away, Wayne's going to change the style of play, and it better not compromise the results, has it?
If they've got a long-term plan and they think he can deliver on it, then it's that thing of being brave and bold, isn't it? Liverpool did it all those years ago with Jurgen Klopp. They had Brendan Rodgers, who they were all right with, and there was a better manager available, so they do what clubs do that are ambitious. Go and get the best man for the job.
Yeah, I mean,
Time will tell whether Wayne Rooney's the best man for the job.
We've talked about it
that's
loads of times, haven't we? About it's just, I know it's not, but you should think of it almost like players. If there's what you think is a better manager available, and you've got to take that opportunity, like right now, then if your manager won his last game or his last 2 or his last 3, shouldn't make any difference, should it?
No, not if you're looking long term.
Yeah, technically we did that once.
Did we?
Yeah. We were already sort of to appoint a manager, and another one better came along in Ancelotti.
Yeah.
And we dumped one, literally.
We did, yeah.
And took the
took Carlo.
The better manager.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't see that type of decision, of the decisiveness of that decision happening anytime soon. But on the other side of the independent commissioner and the other side of a fit and proper owners test, maybe we will, one way or another. Yeah.
Well, you want to be decisive. Birmingham have done it, so good luck to them. There is sad news for the player. Tom Davies obviously got a quad injury.
Yeah, he's out for a while now, isn't he?
He's out certainly for the year.
The remainder of this year.
The remainder of this year. It sounds worse than it is. I've seen a few people saying for the season. I don't think it is for the season. I think they expect it to be back at the end of January. So we wish him a speedy recovery. It's not really
3+ months, isn't it? Yeah.
He's had a tough time of it, hasn't he, of late?
Mad, isn't
it? It's like a good year of being injured, really, on and off, hasn't he? It might even be a bit longer than that, actually, of him being out injured. In fact, he wasn't he, when Frank Lampard took over? He was out, wasn't he? So you're talking like kind of 2 years nearly of something like that, of really struggling with injuries, having not had any injuries previously. So it can happen sometimes, but obviously, hopefully, he can get himself fit as quickly as possible. Someone's just said happy birthday to Seamus Coleman. Indeed, happy birthday from all of us at the channel, Seamus. We know you watch regularly, so I hope you've had a good birthday, and you're back soon, our skipper.
Nice of them to organise the international break so he could enjoy his birthday.
Yeah. I mean, I think he hoped at some stage he'd have been playing in this international break.
Well, indeed,
he is coming back from obviously what
last
was a bad
before
injury.
He comes back into the squad in a week or so's time. Yeah,
absolutely. Matthew Barry says, even in both, if we go in for Calvin Phillips in January, that was the link yesterday on loan, wasn't it? Do you think we'd have to change the formation? No, I don't think so, Matt, because I think he'd have him alongside Onana. And then it's where does James Garner, does he just go higher up? The Decore question comes in. Does James Garner go, do you really want to move him to right back or something like that?
What would you do? That's the best way.
What would I do?
I'm the owner and I've just got Calvin Phillips and said, there you go, mate. Use him how you see fit.
Well, he was very good at Leeds. But he hasn't hardly played, and don't forget he was injured a little bit towards the end at Leeds, and then City took him, and he's not really played that much for Manchester City, so he's kind of gone off the boil. This is a lad who, of course, was in England's midfield in the Euros, wasn't he? He was getting in the side there, and he's stagnated a little bit through injury and through obviously going. It's tough to just because you can't get in at Man City doesn't mean you're not still a very good player. But he is on his day, he's an excellent passer of the ball, and he's very good in midfield, very good midfield player. I
think one of the things with the intensity,
difficult.
The intensity of the way Guardiola coaches his players. Once he gives up on you, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it looks like he's give up on him, doesn't it? So he's going to go somewhere in January, isn't he? Surely. Unless they have an injury or something between now
Leeds might go back. I mean, whether he'll drop to the Championship, but he's a Leeds boy. He's a Leeds boy, don't forget. And he might think, well...
Triple winner to Championship.
No, I know, but he might look at it and go, well, I'll go and play for my boyhood club again. It's only a short-term thing to get myself some minutes. Guardiola might be like, go and get some games under your belt and come back pre-season.
Well, that's the people management view, right? Would be that, yeah.
That's if they are to let him go. Don't forget, Everton were very interested in August, and City didn't want to let him go. And he's been playing because obviously Rodri's out. So City still, might be reluctant to let him go. But that was certainly doing the rounds yesterday, that Everton were interested in him again, and he was, obviously he's well aware of Everton's interest in him. And if obviously Sean Dyche has got an idea of what he wants to use him for, then James Garner could be those three in midfield, and Decore might be the one to.
Do you think the need for us to do anything?
Don't forget, Abdoulaye Decore's out of contract next summer.
Indeed, So you either contract him or decide, you're going to play a guy who's going to walk out the door every game, sort of thing. But then a loan player's no difference, is it? Unless there's an option to buy.
That's it, isn't it?
But I just think players have got to go out the door anyway. I think before we do anything, not even for loans, you want to keep the books balanced. So, and we were talking at 1 o'clock, weren't we, about Michael Keane perhaps needs to go out, but for Michael Keane's benefit, if Burnley are still in the league by then, they probably need someone to add a bit of experience to their defence, if you will.
I don't see Vincent Kompany coming for Michael Keane.
No,
I'll be honest.
That's why I say
but
it. Yeah, because that's what, if anything gets.
And I think if
anything
anyone knows a centre back, Vincent Kompany knows a thing or two.
Kompany into grief where he is right now, it will be sticking to his principle of how he wants to play. Depends what their American owners think about whether they're up in the Premier League a bit earlier than they thought. Therefore, it's no big deal if you go back down again, so to speak. And we're seeing with Leicester, aren't we, that you can dominate the Championship and struggle in the Premier League, and therefore when you go back down again, if you can hold the team together, then you can dominate it again, can't you? And you come back stronger and all those cliched things. But I just think we need to be cautious about what Everton can and cannot do in transfer windows at the moment. So just assume we have to. There's got to be before they ship him in. Yeah.
There's got to be a point though where we can start doing things again in the transfer window. I do find it incredible that no matter what we seem to do, we always seem to be still at the same point.
Oh yeah.
So no matter if you go back when we haven't had a clear spend for over 3 years now.
That's because we've been on a slow slide into some mire for quite a long time, yeah. And as things happened, as in the passage of time helps, doesn't it? Yeah. We logically are replacing, are we not? And we had this challenge in the summer. We're replacing P&S problems with cash problems.
Yeah.
In other words, yes, we've got the headroom and we probably can afford to make financial commitments.
But we haven't got the cash.
But if the club that we're trying to acquire a player from sticks their hand out and say, well, but we need X. We haven't got it. We don't have the X, or if we do have the X, we'd rather spend it over here, sort of thing. And of course, the state.
You know what I mean, though, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
It feels like we're in a state of perpetual perjury of purgatory, not perjury, that's a different thing. Yeah. Purgatory of not moving forward. That we get, it's going to be difficult for a couple of years. I get that. Yeah. Absolutely get it.
Yeah.
And understand this stupid P&S far more than I ever wanted to.
It's probably more to do with cash now than that.
No, it is, but we're still a football club. The essence of football clubs is to try to. I know Everton have done a great job of telling people differently with this, but the idea of football clubs is to try to compete and win things. That's the whole point of being a football club, really. I know people are now trying to change it and say, it's a community thing. No, it doesn't matter whether you win. It's just being part of a community.
Are they?
That's their lines. It's getting trotted on here and more and more.
Really? That needs to be nipped in the bud straight away.
The whole point is to try and win things, and then you'll get people who make excuses then. That's too difficult. Too difficult now. You can always get better at everything you do. And the MO should be, well, you're telling me it's difficult, right? I'm going to twice as hard to prove you wrong then. Not just accept it, because that's easy. That's an excuse. I'm tired. Don't run if you're tired. You don't have to run. The player who is looking for the bench, putting his hand up because it's getting a little bit, don't fancy it today.
No, you're right. And, and there's some, academic people or bright people or both who would, and I actually believe this to be true, would rightly say that if you just want to put a word to it, then my words would be someone like Farhad Moshiri under his ownership. We've we've spent so much time looking for the shortcut to the promised land that the tortoise and the hare springs to mind, because when you, classically, isn't it, projects go like one day at a time, you suddenly look up and 7 years have gone by. And what you've had in those 7 years is, maybe just use managers as the catalyst for it, 7 sprints, none of which you finished. You never finished the sprint. And actually all you've done while the other guy's been plodding along is gone back to the beginning again over and over again, right? And, I think if you call that revolution, you want it to happen very quickly, and you talk about the slow, sure, lay down the foundations, blah, 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 you call that evolution, then you can have an intellectual or academic debate about the various merits of evolution and revolution. But what people do when they do that is they make it binary, as if taking forever or failing all the time, going through the cycle, and things like agile methodologies within business is about failing quickly if you're going to fail. But it's also about prototyping, realize what doesn't work, get rid of it, plug something in. But you need really strong management to do that, and common understanding of what the ultimate end game is. In other words, you need vision, you need plans, and all those sorts of things. And I just have a fear that if people start to move away from the reactionary Farhad Mashiri revolution and move towards a more thoughtful, almost academic, intellectual evolution, that we start then have a disconnect in assumptions, because this one someone will think, well, John Blaine's version of evolution is 3 years. Well, someone else's version of evolution might be 10 years. And I've heard people saying, as we progress so that in 10 years' time we're competing for Europe. What?
10 years? Jesus.
In this game, that is an eternity.
No, it is,
Right? So it's about how fast you can go through the cycle of development, fundamentally. And as we know, and we'll come back to players in a minute, won't it? Short term in this industry is to the next transfer window, isn't it?
Yeah.
Medium term is probably 2 transfer windows, and long term is 2 seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is why most managers, on average, get a long-term go at it, because the average period of tenure is 18 to 24 months. And I think the old stuff that went on for quite a while, as you can only measure managers by how many transfer windows they've had, is probably not wrong. And therefore, when you talk about developing players can't be bringing 12-year-olds through, because no manager is going to be anywhere near around long enough to do that. But so they have to be managed, or tasked managers, with improving the players we give you. I.e., the club says, well, we got these 25 players. Make them deliver the best that they can, and have very firm objectives about what success looks like. And success has always got to be better than you did last time.
Got to be,
and therefore you can even
unless you're City.
Well, maybe it's how you do it. If you win the league 5 years in a row doing exactly the same thing in exactly the same way, even your own fans will get bored, won't they? So you can freshen that up, and Guardiola did in some respect, because he got players who are not typical City players. A Grealish, who's more about flair and might not work hard, but got him working hard enough to justify his so he's doing it a different way, but with the same outcomes. But even the academics can accept that continuous improvement, because that's a textbook phrase as well. You can define, targets and stuff. So continuous improvement has to be things like, well, we got more points than last season, or we got more goals, or we lowered the average age of the squad, or we've got more homegrown players. There's loads of metrics you can choose. But ultimately, the minimum expectation can't be the expectation. You can't say, well, finishing 17th every year is okay.
No.
It is if the only objective is to stay in the league, because you've stayed in the league, haven't you?
Can't be, though, can it?
No, of course it can't be. Of course it can't be. And because you don't get players staying with you to be developed then.
No.
Because they say, well, how many players have left this club, and either, not many say it publicly because they're perhaps too polite, but have thought, I left because their ambition didn't match mine.
You.
So it's a hard one. But I just think if we define being better as we get new players every transfer window, then I would happily have quite a good debate about whether that's legitimate or not. Because it means you're failing somewhere else if you have to do that, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so. Anyway, is that long enough for someone to ask questions?
Oh, it's a good answer, isn't it?
Where's our
This one
Americans?
week,
Our
but
Americans are always
give me a
first, aren't
headache.
they?
I know.
Where are they?
Mate. Better.
They turn it back on again.
That was it. That was just, it was right in my eye. It was giving me a
Yeah, it
headache
is.
immediately. Yeah.
Get the glass.
See you bright, that.
reflection. At least you got your own
I'm
eyes.
looking at you and you were deflecting it in my eye as well. I was like,
Laser beams.
I didn't know where to look.
Hit me.
No, John, that's a different song, and that's not one I'd be singing.
Relax, mate.
I am. I can see what you're doing, John. It's there. Anshima says hello. Hello, mate. I'll be there.
Greetings.
Yeah. Satoshi says, hi, John and Baz. I think Saturday's side was probably the most balanced we've had in a long time. Felt a very similar to a Moyes 4-5-1 team.
It looked balanced. It looked like they knew what they were doing, didn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, so that's good. And if the manager, as we keep trying to say, with his, low ceiling but high floor, in his behaviours is quite consistent, then when you see it click with the players, maybe they just click that day, and then they need to repeat it now, don't they?
Yeah. Chris has said, Chris has asked Dyche's internet warrior comments, and he says it's very weird for a manager who's struggling. Isn't that the time when they do that kind of thing, though? Whether you should or you shouldn't. They do sometimes come out and fighting, don't they? And
you've got to be a certain animal to be a football manager, haven't you? And often that doesn't necessarily include having been a good footballer, because, but when they're under pressure, that's when you see the real person. And, I don't know whether Sean thinks he's a witty guy. I don't know. Yeah. And perhaps if we knew him better, we'd understand some of the things he says. But certainly they come across as a bit of impatience or a bit of a lack of preparedness to even go anywhere near what sounds like criticism. So, there's certain stakeholders that you can have a go at, aren't there? You can have a go at your own players. It's not my fault, it's theirs. You can have a go at the owners, which is the Conte approach, yeah?
Yeah.
It's always, or Benitez's approach, it's always the owner's fault. If they just give me a minimum amount of resources, I'd win everything. Yeah. And then the last one, in the sense that the one you should never go anywhere near criticising per se, unless they've done something horrible, is the fans. But I do wonder why he chose that one. Why does he think people, and the phrase internet warriors, that's a bit old-fashioned, isn't it? Internet, it's internet.
It's internet.
Yeah.
On the
so
line.
I don't know. Maybe it's just come out and that's it. Forget about it. But he needs to be wary if that's the foothills of being critical of the fan base, having spent 6-9 months or whatever it's been, saying how wonderful we are.
Yeah, there was a strange comment from him. I don't know why he felt the need to.
No, because
the easiest way to shut people up is to win football matches.
Yeah,
and he won't be
always.
getting that criticism anyway.
Yeah. But as you said, or we all say, everyone hopefully says, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and criticising someone for their opinion shows something more about you than it does about them.
Yeah, I think for people who, if he's talking about people complaining about results, well then he hasn't really got a leg to stand on. He lost 7 out of 8 home games before Saturday. We'd scored 8 goals at home since he's been in charge. We've never scored more than 1. He'd won 3 games in 18. What he really should be concentrating on is not even addressing it. It's just going, we just won. Want to talk about we've won 3 out of the last 4 games, which is a positive.
It is.
If someone asks you the question, then you can go, well, what he could have said was, because he has praised the fans loads of times.
He's consistent.
Yeah.
He
so
is.
really, all he
And
should have said was, everyone's entitled to their opinion. They're disappointed and so am I. And that would have been the end of it. And he could have moved on. And that's it. I just think once you start changing that narrative to go call people internet warriors or moan at different sections of the fan base, you're on a slippery slope. Lampard found this criticising the fans after the Wolves defeat at home. Where he'd always been and always praised the fans and all that. He lost a lot of people that day. Once you start doing it, people are then waiting You know, you're going in. Don't forget, the manager is going into 4 difficult games. If Everton went to Anfield and were beaten heavily, he's left himself wide open to the internet warriors, hasn't he?
Well, he said internet warriors, but he also immediately attached that to the fans he talks to who've been around for years, thus implying said internet warriors are Johnny-come-latelys. Well, no one is a Johnny-come-lately to this football club, not in the last 7 years anyway. Anyone who had a choice, right, who bases it on sporting achievement,
would have gone to City.
Would have gone somewhere else, minimally somewhere else. So it was curious, yeah, and particularly from a man who's been here 5 minutes in the grand scheme of things.
I just don't think he needs to do it. I don't think he needs to create anything, just bat it off.
He's clearly a bright guy, right? Because,
of course he is.
You know, and therefore apply that intellect in a way that, and without need for sarcasm and stuff, right, of just put down dumb questions that you get. You know, bat them away with thanks for that. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Next.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it, because then what can you say?
The majority of the audience are going to give you dolly balls to hit out the park anyway.
Well, his big thing was Saturdays, you have to say.
We won.
We just won 3-0.
Yeah. I'm really pleased that for once the XG appeared as real goals as well. And if we keep doing that, we'll keep scoring real goals, which we will.
And we'll be fine.
And we will.
That's all he has to say. Ultimately, he'll be judged by internet warriors or anybody else on games he wins.
Of course.
Results, like every manager should. He shouldn't be treated any different to Frank Lampard or Rafa Benitez or Carlo Ancelotti or whoever you want to pick. All football managers are judged on football results mainly, unless you're John Eustace of Birmingham, obviously, who's won the last couple. But they've obviously decided that there's better out there.
I just hope he gets to his management average. You know, and that's more than enough right now for him to have that comfortable end to the season. The
easiest thing for the whole football club and for Everton and for fans and for Sean Dyche is if they just win games of football.
Yeah, absolutely.
And stay away from trouble and we can have a calmer season, which means you can then plan. That's the big thing. We've had an awful time in the last 2 and a bit years. Awful time. And someone, you know, and all this, we've got to change the story. Well, you're part of that story, mate. So,
how many points do you think will defo keep you up this season?
30.
Divide that by Sean's points per game average over his whole managerial career, sort of thing. And we do that 2/3. If he could achieve his average, he's behind it right now.
Yeah.
But if he could get up to his average, then after about 25-ish games, we've got more points than that. So
even if I'm 5 points or 3 points, say,
even you go to the traditional 40,
but we haven't got 40 points for seasons, John.
No, I know, but if you went with his average, then you achieve it with 5 or 6 games to go. We'd settle for that, wouldn't we? Absolutely. The month of
and
May,
then he could easy points then to progress, couldn't he?
Yeah.
So go, well, hang on.
We haven't last
2 seasons ago, you needed to win your last home game to stay up. Last season, we did. I've had a full season in charge. We're safe at the start of April.
Yeah. What are you next year we're going to be better.
What are you moaning for?
Next year we're going to be better again.
Exactly. And that everyone goes, all right, sound. Can't blame Evertonians for feeling like it's been one long shit show, because it has. But you can't though, can you? I don't think
I'm agreeing with you.
I don't think any manager could turn around and go, why are you moaning? Because people will just go, well, we haven't won a trophy for 28 years, mate. There's your first protocol if you want to look why we're not happy. Secondly, it feels like one season, just glued one long season.
We've had a 2.5 year season so far, haven't we?
Of crap. So that's why people are feeling rough and down. And there'll be lots of different viewpoints along the way, and some will be Dyche out and a lot are, and a lot of Dyche in. And then you'll move right the way through and you'll get halfway and people will be like, I just want us to win games of footy. That's where I am. I just want us to win footy matches. And what I think, man, I've said this to you before, right? My dislike for managers is growing rapidly.
Managers as a breed?
Yeah, just all of them, because they're all bullshit merchants at the end of the day. And I've said it before, rolling contracts, 4 weeks at a time, win 75% of the games, you get another goal next month. That way you don't ever get attached to them. But no, realistically, obviously, I just some quiet and some calm, just win some games, but don't don't be surprised when you're losing games at home if you're under pressure.
Particularly losing games at home.
Ten Hag's under pressure. Should
history,
well, should he be under pressure?
Probably not.
No. Okay. Well, a lot of United fans will say he should because they don't win home games. They've won one. They've won one in injury time.
I mean, in a binary sense, where you have to say yay or nay, you wouldn't automatically say yes, would you? But they do.
But then a lot of other people that look and go, they've got big resources, got a big squad, and he's underperformed. So if you underperform, you're under pressure. But we're in the same league, so why, if you're Everton manager and you've lost 7 out of 8 home games, surely you'd be under pressure.
Definitely.
If I was Everton's manager and I'd lost 7 out of 8 home games, I'd be thinking, I need to win one very quickly, and then I need to win another one very quickly because otherwise I'll be under pressure. I imagine if you're Birmingham City's manager, you were under pressure. If you're Leeds United manager and you lose 7 out of 8 home games, you'd be under pressure. So that's what goes with the territory. It's why the average Premier League manager, what is it, 13 months? Is it
18-ish, isn't it?
I think it's less. I think it's much less than that now, honestly. Have a look.
Have a look while you're talking,
But even if it's 18 months, but I think it's around 13 months now.
Oh, okay.
But say it's 18. That ain't a long time. And why is it 18? It's because people start losing games of footy. There's a huge amount of money to be lost.
Sacked for winning games.
If you're what I'm saying, there's a huge amount of money at risk if you get relegated. Yeah. So therefore, the pressure is on. So you have to win games. So you can't moan if you're not winning games. Doesn't matter what's going on the field.
In April, it was just over 18 months.
Oh, was it? I'm sure.
It might have come down.
No, I heard Neville saying it was 13, so maybe he's wrong.
Yeah.
That's where I've heard it.
Yeah.
But even if it's 18 months.
3 or 4 times.
Well, possibly, yeah. Phil, yeah. Poor Phil. And himself. He only lasted bloody 6 months at Valencia, didn't he? So fair play to him.
Maybe the average of Phil and Gary Neville.
Yeah, maybe that brings it down, yeah. Stan says Calvin Phillips would be it's because his name's Stan Smith. Calvin Phillips would be a great signing. Years left in him.
Sprinter, Calvin Smith.
He'd be a real signing of intent.
Yeah.
Jay Beard says, what's the number to go? It's there, Jay. The link is there. Go to under the title on Premier. The link is there. Just make sure you put your name in the room, and Ned'll let you in. Ned'll let you in. Where are we?
100-metre runner, Calvin Smith.
Is he? Yeah.
He was. He's 61 now, or 62 or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Twice world champion over 200 metres. Former world record holder at 100 metres. So there you go. You're just crap dropping names all the time now. No one ringing up.
No. I'm just reading this.
Make a coffee, guys, while Baz is reading.
The Blues says... No, I'm just reading the disagreement because I've just seen it in thingy.
The Blues, he was on live.
He's always on.
Yeah,
but he's a bit... He's a
very engaging.
He is very engaging. He's talking to Daniel, who Daniel thinks that because of the fans, Michael Keane got dropped. I tend to agree. That it was, the clamour for Branthwaite to play was quite strong. Michael Keane didn't help, of course. But the Blues thinks it's absolute nonsense. He thinks it was nothing to do with the fans. He just decided that. No. Listen, that I'm not saying he's right, because I think everybody knew that the pressure on Dyche meant that he changed Michael Keane because of the fans. But yeah. People talking about cups and trophies in the comments.
Good lads. Yeah. Ladies, well done. Because we're going to win the Carabao Cup.
Well, I'll tell you what, we beat Burnley on a sunny day. It'll be a night game. Then you're in the quarterfinals. You might get a home game. There's Bournemouth, Liverpool. Be an interesting one, given Liverpool obviously have a lot of games this season with the Europa League. Is the Carabao Cup really massive on their agenda? Jurgen Klopp might play some of the squad players, which have still got good players, but Bournemouth might...
He'll play his 5th choice striker and we'll be jealous. Yeah.
But Bournemouth have still... yeah. Bournemouth then would have a chance because they're at home, obviously, so you never know. West Ham, Arsenal, so one of them are going out.
Yeah.
Big game. And obviously Manchester United, Newcastle, Old Trafford.
City have already
gone. So, listen, Do I believe Everton will win the Carabao Cup? No, because history tells me we don't win it. But if Everton could beat Burnley and then got a home game, and isn't there
there's a
Port Vale, Mansfield, one of those. There's a tie where there's two lower teams.
I think Mansfield's one of them, isn't it?
So that'd be, if Everton could beat Burnley and then get them at home in the quarters.
Yeah.
Then you get to the semi-final. You never know. Dom Branthwaite was fit at the start of the season. Was sub against Fulham, played against Sporting. Was fit to play.
Listen, we have to do our bit in the Carabao Cup, right?
No, we've got to beat Burnley.
Once we've done our bit, we'd have two chances of what we might want. The winner, home game, of course, always. Mansfield or Port Vale.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Or Exeter or Middlesbrough. That's another tie. And then the rest of them have all got Premier League teams in.
The rest of them are tough games, aren't they? So all you could do was...
We'd take Ipswich or Fulham at home, wouldn't we?
All you could do was thingy.
Kieran could do an interview while he was here or something. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Interesting.
And then you're into the semis when by that time it's all Premier League clubs. And
the Blues, you do know that Branthwaite's had a slight groin problem all season, don't you?
Which he plays with. Yeah.
So he had the slight problem and he was playing and he's still playing with the slight groin problem.
So it couldn't be
you make the decision. Joe Thomas wasn't lying,
it.
So I don't know why you're saying Joe Thomas is lying. If only there was a way to rewind this conversation to hear me say Joe Thomas was lying, which is just nonsense. This is why you get yourself in trouble every day, the Blues, don't you, with people? Every day.
You're having a go at someone here?
I'm not having a go. I'm saying people have a go at him every single day because he comes across as if he knows everything.
Oh, okay.
And doesn't listen to what's being said to him.
Oh, okay. But we don't know who he is.
But Jared, I don't know what his name is. I'm sure he'll message me and give me his full name in a minute.
Yeah.
But Jared Branthwaite was pulled out the 21s, didn't he?
He was. Yeah.
Everton pulled him out because of the groin injury he had that he's been playing with. That he played against Sporting with and that he played against, and he was fit to play.
And it's the sort of injury which rest is the only solution.
Groins are problematic, of course they are, but if you've got a groin problem but you sub, your groin problem doesn't go away when you start the week later.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And hasn't gone away. So there you go. Anyway, that's enough of that because it was a nonsense conversation.
Enough about groins.
Yeah. You don't really want to get involved in that, do we? But they do hang around.
They do?
I remember playing with them wetsuit cycling shorts for about 3 years because of the groin problem. Because obviously the thing with groins is you get them warm, you can get through games, but then
the ache comes
you hit at what I did. I used to hit about 70 minutes, 75 minutes, and you can feel it again. And that's when fatigue comes in and it goes again, don't you? Remember Graham Sharp, the first person I ever saw wear them? Like waterproof, waterproof, the wetsuit ones.
Okay.
So you'd get the ones that are
quite thick, you mean?
Yeah. So you get like those. Get them off. You get like the traditional site, like what you see runners.
Yeah, lycra-y type.
The lycra-y type. So they were always around. But Graham Sharp was
Is it neoprene the stuff's made of? I never wore a wetsuit because that's for wusses.
Okay. Yeah. Wusses?
Yeah.
Well, hang on. Some surfers wear wetsuits or something.
Yeah, they're wusses, mate.
Shut up, mate. But I seen Graham Sharp with them, and then you could get them, and it was hard work getting them on. You had to, give it the old wiggle to get them on. But then once it warmed up in the warm up, it'd keep the groin nice and warm, so you were able to move properly.
So rubberish.
Yeah, they were just
neoprene.
Neoprene. Yeah. But they did a job. But you don't see them as much. And obviously, there's more sports science now. They probably go, yeah, that groin injury you're playing with and you're not maximum with, or do it this way or wear. But some players still wear them, but they're obviously better.
Yeah.
You can they have tape and everything, although getting the tape across.
Before the surfers and the like come after me, right?
Yeah, the surfers will be all over you. You just call them wussers. Fellas who are going in with waves that up here, you'll call them wussers. Are you messing? I look 3 times before I get in the swimming pool.
I never wore wetsuits because 250 of my 350 dives are all in not just warm water, but very warm water. The Red Sea and the like. Yeah, but Anyway, be bold, start cold. That's what it is. Yeah, but not if it's a groin because you want that to start hot.
You've just got to get it warm, and then you can manage.
I wonder if you'd be allowed to wear heated ones.
I don't know, because you might overheat, mightn't you? No one wants an overheating groin, I'm sure of it. I'm sure no one wants an overheating groin.
There's ways to get things warm, though, isn't there?
Ned, have you ever wore cycling shorts for your football? Because obviously...
I wear them every...
Are you on the mic? You should be on the mic and the picture, because obviously we've all seen...
I never play without compression underneath my football shorts.
Compression?
Because my groin, like, really bad.
Mm.
Haven't you got
Every time I play, if I play without it, my groin's in agony.
See, I'm just so I knew somewhere that you had
I never used to.
Do you wear them when you have you got them on in your GoPro football?
Yeah, I never used to until I had a really bad groin injury when I was like 19, whether it was football or something else being on top of me.
He wears them for
I had a really bad groin, and since then,
you've had to wear them.
I was my groins aching after every game, even no matter how many gates I open.
So
you know that opening the gate's not great for your groin stretch. You know, do the elbows. So you
not being a victim of this.
I'll do the old.
Oh, we're getting a demonstration. If only the camera was. See, that's not good for you.
Oh, close the gate.
No, opening and closing the gate. Opening and closing the gate's not right.
Just bang me knee.
Not being a victim. What's
just bang me knee.
What's a groin pain feel like? How would you
like
describe?
A heavy?
There's
like a heaviness.
Yeah.
It feels like a massive bruised inside. Like when you try and walk. Like I remember trying to walk around uni for like a month, and I had to walk with my hand on my groin like this down my pants.
That's the excuse you had.
So maybe all the roadmen that walk around, the hand down their pants, should have got bad groins.
What the? I've said
no
this to you
need for
before.
a physical demonstration.
Roadmen, shut up, mate.
Put it away, Ned.
Like
That's more like a hernia, but you would have had a big lump.
Felt like a hernia.
You'd have had a lump though if it was a hernia.
So you know what hernias feel like as well.
Probably. Yeah.
He's had it all. Ned is. I'll be honest, right? Ned is the most injury ravaged 23-year-old that I've ever known.
Back of my knee.
His knee is always wrecked. His
It's not
ankles.
uncommon for elite athletes to be injured all the time, though, is it?
It's 'cause I
The
keep-
difference between elite athletes and Ned is
It's quite wide.
my team need me.
there is a big thing. But the big thing between Ned and an elite athlete, oh my God, is that they wouldn't carry on playing if they were injured. You know, if they were like, he come in here and he was like, my knee's wrecked.
Yeah, the other day.
And I said to him, don't play, mate, give it a week's rest.
He toddled off, yeah.
And off he went to play. So it just makes me think you're not really as injured as you were.
Well, he's turned up today in a trackie and proper trainers, none of that slider rubbish. So he must be feeling good today.
Still kills behind here when I play. On Friday, I had I had my cycling shorts, and then on my knee, I had 2 layers of tubey grip and tape around it.
It's psychological, don't you?
Not when I'm like this after a game. Like that.
Does it swell up?
After a game.
Does it swell?
It's like blue after a game.
Housemate's knee, yeah.
Like this.
That sounds like a housemaid, doesn't it?
He was going, he was saying the front of my knees hurt, then he's telling me the back of his knees hurt.
Yeah.
I was like, Ned,
No,
come on.
I've still got that.
You'd have to be, serious, like, hang on, all joking aside,
Go
right?
see a physio.
If your knee is really that bad, don't take a chance with it, because
Definitely. You don't want to be limping.
if it goes properly, like, I don't know what it might be that you've done, right? But if knees are very, very complex things, and if you damage your knee, you'll damage it for long term.
I don't want to do that.
But you're saying your knee's hurting. You shouldn't have to strap your leg up to play. And you do say your knee's sore all the time, don't you? It could be your arches, because you've got collapsed arches in your feet, haven't you? So it could be the way
That's
you're at.
normally the top, but whatever I've done to the back, that was just a one-off injury. I think I've overstretched or something, because I played 3 games in a week. And the next day after I'd done I'd done that in the game on the Friday. And the next morning I woke up and done a 6-hour hike, just climbing, and I was almost crying.
Have you actually been to see anyone?
No.
Go and see a sports rehab or
Someone's
physio.
just called you Ned Vertloon.
Yeah, absolutely. Go see a sports rehab guy.
Only Don went and got it sorted. Ned is just hiding.
Yeah,
Ned's out on a... Like, Ned plays footy on a Monday and a Thursday. So we don't see him over the weekend. But, like, on a Wednesday, he's ruled out of his Thursday games. He's limping. He's injured. He's, I'm so injured and all that. And then Thursday comes in, he's ready to play. Strapped up. Yeah, I'll be sound. Like, hang on, yesterday you were out.
Go get
Like Joe Thomas would have been accused of being a liar
after
again.
a few days, like, oh, it feels okay. But as soon as you kick a ball and start running and you're using muscles you haven't used since your last game, it's like, oh.
How do you do that? How do you not use muscles?
Ned, you need to be careful.
I just don't move a lot unless I'm playing football.
You need to be careful.
Go and see somebody. 5-minute consultation and he'll tell you.
My mum reckons
tell you what the problem is.
Gilly says you're injured because the Seagulls got to you. I think, you know what, Gilly? I think you're right. I think the Seagulls legged him. And he's had to react quickly. And his quick twitch muscle on his knee is gone.
That's not true.
This fast switch on the back of his knee has pulled a little bit because the Seagulls came for you.
Bet you've got a wobbly leg as well as a consequence, because that's a nervous thing, isn't it?
No, that's just...
In fact, that's why it's injured. Everyone always says,
just
tell Ned to stop
That's just so
doing his knee.
emphasising me. Like, I don't want to, like, stop moving my legs and the muscle shrinks.
What are you talking about? You don't want to stop moving your legs so the muscles
I'm
shrink.
liking how big my legs are, and I don't want to keep that up.
You've got the skinniest legs ever.
I used to. I've got the most muscly legs in the whole building.
You haven't.
Now. I have. I've got huge legs.
You've got the muscliest legs in where you're sitting. That's the only area in which you win,
room.
just on that chair.
He's got the most muscly legs in the mirror in his bedroom, yeah.
I've got great legs.
You are like, shallow Hal when he sees, like... You're like that when you look at yourself with your muscles.
I always look down at my legs
muscle,
and go,
man.
I can't even fit into jeans.
I feel sorry for you because you try so hard to have big legs.
Sorry for me.
And you just haven't got big legs.
I've got great legs.
I didn't... You are mad. I love you, like, you're funny, but you are
my
mad.
legs.
The Blues says your ACL's going to burst.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong if you carry on with a dodgy knee.
He's always right.
You've got to be careful. He's absolutely right.
He is.
It's been really bad since. I was playing for...
Sambo, can you hear? Can everyone hear what you're saying?
Yeah.
This is amazing. You carry on. Go
Can
on.
I just say, I played a bit... It was in February.
I got Lee Evans says Darren Anderton had less injuries than that.
It was fine.
Yeah.
And in February this year, I played JMO, right? And their fullback just went...
Don't ask me.
Who was JMO?
Team in Skemersdale.
You played
we're supposed to know that, are we?
At
Where did you
JMO
play
Sports Park.
What does JMO stand for?
JMO.
You've never told us.
It was a friendly.
No, JMO doesn't stand for JMO.
I don't know.
So you've had a game, an 11-a-side game?
A fullback gone like that through my leg, and my legs... I've gone off injured, and my legs, like, I felt my leg.
Everyone is holding his knee now.
And as soon as I got out, every time I was just folding, and it was like that.
You know what that is?
Night
because your legs aren't strong enough.
I was up all night, like,
they're skinny.
shivering, shaking, like that, like cold
you've been
pain.
hit. Yeah.
Because it
That's
like
shock.
played
Because
all
your
the
legs weren't
time.
big enough.
Because my leg was frigging killing.
So what did you do about it?
Well, I tried to play.
No, you didn't go see a doctor, physiotherapist.
No, I tried to play the next week.
None of those things.
And as soon as I like opened my leg up to touch the ball, someone passed me, opened my leg up to touch the ball, literally with the side of my foot, and it just clicked, and it was just the worst. It made me feel.
You've got a knee injury.
And I went home and I was crying.
Abigail says put neoprene shorts
I've not been sitting about it. I've just been playing.
Won't help his knees though, will it?
Stoosh says sounds like he's got more injuries than Barry Sheen.
Yeah.
Incredible, Ned. I love it.
I just joined, but then left.
Ned,
so we'll get Chris in.
Go. And
Is Chris? Have we got Chris here?
I'm just pacing him in now.
Paste them in.
I'm pacing.
Go
Patch
and
Chris
get
in.
seen.
Pace Chris.
That's a bit harsh. Don't paste Chris. What's he ever done to you?
He's
Well, hang on. Let me just.
I think the worst thing I ever did was call him a Hufflepuff, and he didn't really like that too much.
Chris.
Hufflepuff, yeah.
If I go to Dumbledore, one thing he ain't doing is ignoring me. I need to ignore Hufflepuff. He'd go, "You're not Harry Potter. Get out my
Come
office."
on, Chris. What can we do for you, my friend?
Chris, please get us back on track. Give us some sanity here from Ned's
You expect
injuries.
me to give you guys sanity?
Well, all right. If it's not sanity, at least give us like some Everton related, because Ned's, Ned's medical records is it's not great.
To be fair, mine's not that much better. I've had sciatica, like...
Oh, for God's sake, hang on, is this... Ned, what have you called this?
How old are you?
Bloody
Chris?
GP surgery or something?
You're 30, aren't you?
Yeah, 32.
Bloody yeah. Oh, that's all right then.
Mate, honestly, it's so bad. Like, because I used to do like 20 to 30,000 miles a year.
Chris, you're here to get us off this, not just.
Chris, you're encouraging them. Come on, what do you want to say, Chris? Come on.
Okay, right. I'll try and do something Everton related if I can speak.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was probably just in relation to Dyche, really. I think there's a lot of like noise around him. There's like so many people so vehemently like against him or vehemently for him. And for me, the answer is still it's still very much in the middle, to the point where I just don't know anymore. So like you are right. Like 3 wins in the last 4, like that's something to be celebrated. Definitely, the home record is still shocking. The win percentages are still really bad. I mean, granted, yeah, we just beat Bournemouth 3-0, like, and we were very much the dominant team. We looked really good. Doesn't stop the fact that, at least for me, Bournemouth were terrible. They were so bad on Saturday.
I've got an issue when people say this. Because I could say, well, Villa only beat Everton because Everton were terrible on that day, and we lost to Wolves because we were terrible. You know what I mean? It can't be that every time Everton win a game of football, the opposition are just terrible. Because you could level that at every club, couldn't you?
Not necessarily. I mean, like, because there's performances I've seen where we absolutely deserved to win, not because the other team were bad, but because we were really good. Like, we beat Brighton 5-1, and
they were terrible.
Yeah,
they were terrible. Their fans said they were terrible that day. But Everton not good.
Yeah, no, Everton were brilliant that day. They were amazing.
Come on, Chris. Listen, you know that I'm playing with a straight bat here. Everton played very well on Bournemouth. Yeah, they contributed to their own downfall, but it was because Everton played with an intensity they've not played with the Goodison this season. It's as simple as that, and they didn't let them settle, so they won the game. So go on, carry on. So even with that, the home record's not very good.
Yeah,
can answer you.
Yeah, basically, like,
we only beat Bournemouth at home, don't we?
Yeah, not even then. But no, it's like, no, I think what the important thing to remember is it's like the answer for me is like somewhere in the middle as to whether like this is going to be a good platform or not. We need to, whatever Dyche does, is he needs to make sure that he builds on what he's done with this win. Like, we can't go back to having a victory like this and then the next like home game that we have, we just go back to type again, because otherwise the manager's just going to be under more pressure again. There needs to be a certain level of consistency from our club. I mean, the next game we've got is going to be Liverpool away, and like the main thing for me, what I expect from that is like, I'm not necessarily expecting us to go to Anfield and win, but but as long as I see a performance from my team and they actually have a good go at their grounds, even if we lose, I'd be like, well, as long as Everton like, put in something for that game, then that gives me some confidence. We had this under Lampard when we went there, and we lost, but that game actually gave me a lot of confidence that we were actually going to stay in the division somehow, even through a loss.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. I don't think anyone should be, and I don't think Evertonians will, well, some will, but I don't think the majority of Evertonians will judge Sean Dyche on the Liverpool game, because it's a tough game. Whoever's in charge of your manager, whoever's in charge of your team, whatever manager you have. I mean, Everton have got to go to Anfield and
then West Ham
play with a game plan. And like you said, we're not going to go there and have loads of attempts at goal. I don't imagine. But if we stick to the game plan we've used at the likes of Brentford and places like that, Villa, who are good sides, Liverpool are a different level to those two teams, but play with the game plan, you're right. West Ham away the week after will be tough, and then Brighton at home the week after will be tough. So
Burnley in between as well.
Burnley in between. So we're going into a tough run of games. We've got to see performances, though, you're right, in those games. It'll be difficult, but we've won 3 of the last 4, and that should be the confidence driver for the next set of games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we see more of what we saw in the Bournemouth game, then there's no reason to say that we're not going to at least put some form of run together as well, where at least even if, say, trying to think how to word it. I'm very tired. I've literally just come back from London, so I am knackered.
Okay.
But you said no one was jumping on, so I was like, go on then.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think, John, the thing is, Chris is right. The home record's not great, and that's something Sean Dyche and Everton Well, not just the manager, Everton have got to put right, hasn't it?
Totally,
Because
yeah.
otherwise we will struggle this season
That's
if we
right.
don't get our home form right. But we are coming into a tough run of games. What are you expecting in this tough run of games? What do you need to see to think we are going in the right direction?
The cop-out, I suppose, no pun intended, is to just say performances almost, right? But I'll be pleasantly surprised if we get anything out of the derby. But I don't think it's totally out of reach that it's no chance. I mean, certainly I've been there less hopeful than I will be, in a couple of weeks' time or next week, whenever it is. I think we should get. There you go. There's a strong word. Should. We should get something out of West Ham.
Capable
the
of
away
it.
form has been better.
Yeah.
And as you say, playing Liverpool is different quality, different level, and so on. And then he's got to come back and in the next home game is beat Burnley in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
Don't mess about with your team selections. Don't risk, the goodwill you got from the last win by then dropping the ball in a cup when we've just had the enthusiastic, well, we win this one, then we get a good draw, and before you know it, you're in a semi-final type of thing. And then, of course, Brighton are a team that we can beat. Yeah.
Tough game, but...
Yeah, so if you said over the next 4 games, you're going to lose, even despite what I just said, lose the 2 away games and win the 2 home games. He'd be par, wouldn't he? Probably.
And a bit of momentum then.
Yeah,
of
in most
winning
people's
home
eyes,
games, yeah.
because particularly if the performances are there, because no one really expects anything from the derby. Might be disappointed, but depending on the performance, if we didn't get anything at West Ham. But if he then comes straight home and wins the next 2, you say, well, okay, let's go again. Then there's a Palace after
Palace
that.
away, which is again...
And that's a
tricky,
game we can
but
get
winnable.
something out of.
Yeah.
But if he gets the minimum that I expect, which is draw at West Ham, perhaps, maybe, do better, could do worse, and then wins the 2 home games, he goes to Palace, as you say, with momentum. So, well, we've lost 2 in the last so many to Arsenal and Liverpool,
And Luton.
Yeah, well, that doesn't exist anymore.
No, that's gone now.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And particularly from an away point of view, because I'm not convinced that the London Stadium's a difficult place to go. The fans don't have as much influence there as they would in a more compact stadium. And if they stick to a game plan, then,
Well, we have, I mean, if you're looking for full balance...
He wants to see consistency.
No, but if you're looking for full balance for the manager, then over this period as Everton manager, we've actually been better away than what we have been at home anyway.
Well, it's 1 in 5 defeat.
At home, we're poor. We've been poor under them, but away we've been. We've had the game plan. We scored goals. We've got results. So Liverpool is, like you say, I've gone to Anfield expecting us to win, and we've been battered. We've been beaten with 10 men. They've had 10 men and still beat us. They've had weak teams out and beat us. So I genuinely don't expect anything ever at Anfield. I look at it and just go.
Anyone who's a Everton fan goes expecting.
Exactly. But West Ham,
Farhad
you're right.
Bashiri's expected loss,
It shouldn't be, though. It shouldn't be. But because anything can happen. But the likes of West Ham away, although they're tough, because Moyes has got a decent side there, why can't we get something there? And then Brighton at home, bit of both, innit? Could go either way. You can beat them because they're beatable. If you switch off and leave gaps, they can do what they did to us last year at home, which is batter us. And then Palace away is another one where if you've got your game plan, they're not massive goal scorers. Palace, you can get results there. It's tough, but you can get results there. So he's got to, and it's not just him, it's the team. We keep putting it all going, the manager's got this. The players have got a run of games now where they can put some markers down. The tougher games. We've just won 3 of the last 4. Okay, well, we've got tougher games now. Can we do it again? Can we go and get some good results, like you just said, John? Win.
The manager's approach to these things, which is he's the steady Eddie sort of consistent thing, would be from those next 3 league games. Is how many points he thinks he's going to get from those. Yeah. And if he comes out the other end with 4, you think that's all right, isn't it?
It's momentum, isn't it? All it is
more
momentum.
Than a point
just
a game,
keep
on average.
Keep getting the wins
at home.
There's
no issue in this league this season.
Yeah, keep getting the wins at home. Work hard. Keep getting the wins at home, and that will put everybody in a good place.
Yeah.
And make Goodison. We've got, no matter what, Chris, no matter who the manager is, You've got to get your home form right.
Totally.
You've got to
yeah,
make
definitely.
it difficult, because that gives you the basis then for the rest of the season. And it doesn't matter if it's Sean Dyche, if it was Diego Simeone, whoever it is. Name any manager you want, they'd have to get that home form right. And if they did, it makes your job so much easier.
Of course it does.
Because it makes the journey so much more justifiable as well. Especially because you guys know this. I don't live in Liverpool, so I live in Nottingham at the moment. I'm soon going to be living in London, and that journey is a killer. If what you're seeing at the end of it is in like a performance that's actually worth that drive. But
depends how fast you drive on the A50, really. Yeah.
I'm impressed you know that it was the A50. Yeah, but no, you are right. I mean, normally I watch the Merseyside Derby just literally hiding behind a pillow on my couch or something like that. Just like occasionally just peeking over the top of it, just hoping we've not like completely bottled
just
it.
Have it on mute. Have the thing on mute and just look up every now and again and see if it's still, if it's still all right. Yeah.
Every now and again, you're in the Annie Road.
And you see
the ball leave Jagielka's foot, and you know it's going to go in. Yeah.
Oh man, I still remember that moment.
Yeah.
Speaking, I still remember because I've been to a few Merseyside derbies when I was younger with my dad. Because I went to the first one I went to was the one we lost 3-1, and but the second one I went to was the first time we took my aunt and the uncle to their first game, but they were Liverpool fans next to us in the main stand, and it was the one where we won 3-0, and Andy Johnson headed it against Pepe Reina at the end.
Oh, excellent.
Tremendous. Yeah. Absolutely tremendous.
That was a great.
And we beat them 3-0, and we could have beat them more that day as well.
Do you remember? Maybe you guys are in the grounds, but so you probably weren't. Didn't know. I'm not sure if you guys knew this one, but remember the FA Cup one? I think it was the year later, where it was
Gosling,
yeah,
Dan Gosling.
Yeah. Were you guys in the ground for that one, or were you at home for it?
No, I was there. It was Zach Goodison, Chris. I was at. If it was Zach Goodison, I was in the ground, mate.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. But me and my dad were watching it, and you probably know about this, but they cut to a bloody car advert just when Gosling scored.
It was. I remember it being in the media. Was it on ITV or something?
Yeah, man. It was on ITV.
They went to an advert and the goal was scored while the advert was on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next 2009, when we got to the cup final.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Who did we play there?
Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
Let's not go there.
That was the night Liverpool fans were throwing Tesco bags at us and everything.
Yeah.
Singing Off to Kirby and all that, wasn't it? Remember? Then Gosling scored. Yeah, they were throwing all that at us. But
wow.
And then Gosling scored. So it was. It was. I remember screaming that loud. That it screamed so loud that I had really hit me throat for it lasted about 10 days, because when he scored that goal, because it was literally the last minute, wasn't it? Andy van der Meijden with the cross. Dan Gosling with a lovely little bit of silky feet and smashed it in. It was great. It was great.
The annoying thing is, for our end, it cut it just as it landed at his foot. So me and my dad where's the signal? Where's the signal? And then as soon as it flashes up, he's on the floor with all a bunch of players around him, and me and my dad just went ballistic. It was amazing. Oh man, that was a good memory. Actually, luckily I went to.
So you have had good times then.
Oh yeah. Bill likes to remind me as he puts my ticket prices up. Cheers for that, Bill. But I went to the semi-final that year as well, and I've never experienced penalties before with Everton. That was one of the most horrible but amazing experiences, in a football ground.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good
No,
time.
it is one of those things, isn't it, where if you could be guaranteed to win on penalties, you'd say, let's just go through the pens just so we can.
I don't know, John. I don't know. I mean, it was amazing.
No, you got the guarantee, don't forget.
The guarantee. Do you still want that, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like getting promoted through a playoff final. Surely you'd rather do that than finish 27 points clear at the top.
I still see Jags walking down to take that pen. Just like,
Mate, it was
tears in the eyes. Tears in the eyes.
The way that as soon as the whistle went, he just ran to the ball and just leathered it as hard as he could.
Tremendous. What a day. They
I've
were the
ever
good
blown.
times, Chris. They were the good times.
Yeah, but we don't have a trophy at the end of it, so it's
No. It did actually feel like the FA Cup final that day.
Yeah, I bet we
yeah,
won the
sure,
that.
yeah.
Really.
It really, really did.
It felt like
that
the FA Cup final.
Yeah, one of the most amazing experiences it probably is the best experience I've had in my lifetime watching Everton was being in the ground to witness Jagielka score that winner. It was incredible.
No one knew what XG was then.
No. Andy King used my phone that day.
Did he?
Andy King, we were outside before the game. We were there early. We were outside Wembley before the game, and he come over. Oh, it's Gas, can I borrow your phone? He's like, phone someone. He said, I've lost me, whatever, his phone had died or whatever. And he used my phone, yeah. Good lad.
Who did he
chat with him. I don't know. He was meeting someone to go for a bevy.
Yeah.
He just, where are you? And they were in. What is that pub called by there?
I don't know.
Whatever. But yeah, I'm talking to him there. But what a day. What a day.
I think someone else wants to speak, so I'll jump off.
Sound, Chris, good man.
Good man, Chris.
Good man.
Take care.
All right, take care, mate. Ta-ra, pal.
Watch the coppers
Cheers,
on the
guys.
A50, mate. Right.
See you later.
Absolutely. See you guys.
I've been done a few
Ta-ra,
times
mate.
on there.
Who've we got, Ned?
We'll get Brian while he was here before Chris.
Brian was here before Chris.
Yeah, but he jumped out when I put Chris on.
Oh,
we'll get
okay.
Brian back in,
Okay.
and then we'll get Glenn straight after.
Brian and Glenn. Sound. Let's go then.
Brian.
Brian, are you there?
I am
Hello,
Good
Brian.
evening, Brian. How are you?
recovering.
Still celebrating.
No,
It's
still
the bloody
eh,
club of ours, eh?
Brian, can I just say?
Yes.
Can I just say, you did say last week you and the Swedes were coming over,
You'll sort it.
and it was a 3-0 win.
He did.
I
He's
did.
forgot.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, well, as a time traveller, just got my weeks mixed up.
Is that what it was, yeah?
Came to lose
That's
him.
what it
I know,
was,
but
yeah.
he promised me a 3-0 home win. That's why I
did.
said last week. And it didn't happen, but it did happen this week. That was all it
I
was.
lost the house, everything.
What do you want to say, mate?
Well, I came in rather late, so I don't know what the topic's been for today. But I just said, this club of ours, I was guaranteed to let you down. You know, we had 2 great away wins.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, we turned up, all the Swedish gang, and they let you down, didn't they?
That's what Everton do.
Are we surprised? This is the thing. I mean, are we supposed to be surprised about this? 2 really good away wins, then you get team bottom of the league, never won a Premier League game, and what happens? Roll over, Everton. Thank you very much. And then what do you do the week after when we're not there? Oh, well, the sun's shining, in it? Clear blue skies, not like the week before. Rain, Luton Town, heavy skies.
Who plans these trips, Brian?
Wind, and the mild. Sorry?
Who plans these trips?
Well, it's the supporters club in conjunction with the club. Normally we come like the end of October, but apparently they changed it too early in the season because hotel prices are very high those weekends. So I don't know if there's anything going on in town, but that's why it was moved early this year.
Oh, okay.
So I think they should all be sacked.
I
The
think
entire committee can go.
they probably put all the prices up on the basis that we know the Swedes always
The
come
Swedes are over this weekend, yeah. Let's charge them a bit
Yeah.
more.
That's it.
Well, maybe you have to maybe
over as well from the States.
maybe you have to come for a 2-match session, you know, so you get 2 chances of seeing us
Oh,
win.
but we did. We had a double header. We went to the ladies on Sunday,
Oh, okay.
Walton Park, and what happened there?
You lost.
Didn't he? 1-0.
Yeah.
They lost to Brighton.
Yeah,
Oh,
1-0, wasn't it?
2-1 that one.
It
Was it 2-1, was it?
Leicester was 1-0. Brighton was
2-1.
2-1. Brighton, I don't know.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, well, so you're a
what
jinx,
weekend,
Brian.
eh?
That's what you're saying.
Well,
You were a jinx
we
this
all
time.
were. I'd rather quote you on that next year when
Yeah, okay.
when the tide turns.
Oh, God, I'll absolutely get back over for our normal customary 3-0 win for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah, we did Crystal Palace last season. So. Yeah, so there you go. And there's a wonderful weekend we had on the Friday evening. We had our usual do the evening with Neville Southall. And
Good.
Yes, it was very, very interesting.
It's good value,
As you
isn't
can
he?
imagine, and I even
Yeah,
got him
defo.
to. We haven't got him to sing a little in Swedish, which is a high point.
Fair play. I mean, fair
The
play.
chant I've told you about, well, we sang it, And normally we get the players involved. The best at it that we've had so far was Joe Parkinson. He was brilliant. He was really with it. But we've just got a couple of words out of Nev, so we'll settle for that.
Yeah. That's at least
Apart from football, we had a wonderful weekend.
Well, that's
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, ultimately, Brian, that's what it's about. Yeah, that's what it's about.
It's Evertonians.
Yeah.
As long as you have a good weekend, that's all that matters.
About America.
And then we come back again the week after. Eh?
Yeah.
At least we won, though, Brian.
Very sad when you think about it, aren't we? Very sad.
Well,
yeah,
that's football, Brian. I mean, I don't really know what to say. That's football, mate, isn't it? That's all you can.
Yeah.
You can never hang your hat. Not with Everton anyway. Life is never Evertonian. You can't hang your hat on anything, can you? But
up until recently, you had a better chance of enjoying the weekend if you were able to go to the away games, though. So
close season, yeah.
So.
We had that last year when we went to America to watch Everton.
Yeah,
the trip was amazing. Apart from the football, the trip was amazing.
Didn't see a goal.
Yeah, forget the footy.
I'm 5 minutes into Minnesota. Can we go back to Mall, please?
Yeah. It's all part and parcel of life as a football fan.
It is.
Isn't it?
Your previous call, you mentioned Jagielka's goal in the cup.
Yeah.
This is my favourite derby goal was Andy King, October '77.
Oh yeah, the volley outside the box. Yeah,
didn't get to stay on the pitch though, did he?
Do it.
He didn't get to stay on the pitch.
That was after the game.
Yeah, the copper.
Richard Rutherford, the reporter, came up to interview him.
And the copper moved him on.
Off the pitch, lads, off the pitch.
Yeah. Good goal, that though.
It
I
was
actually standing. Yes, he was standing in those days. Just around where Ped sits, where he has a seat.
Okay,
Standing just about there. So I can see it's imprinted on my memory.
The
ball just curling into the top corner. I'll never forget. Mayhem in the Gladys Street.
Well, it will be.
Limbs.
With limbs, yeah. Limbs,
the goal.
Absolutely.
Stand.
And nothing's changed. We're still limbs all these years later.
Yeah.
Whenever we score a goal. It's all good.
And that's, by the way, that's all you missed, Brian. But it wasn't limbs, it was limb. And it was Ned's limb that we were talking
tonight,
about.
It was all you'd missed was Ned's knee for 45 minutes.
His injury, he's been an elite athlete. He's apparently in a right mess.
The most injury-prone 23-year-old.
Yeah.
Him and Dwight McNeil. Such a bad knee at that age.
I know.
I'm 62 and I'm just feeling miney when I go out running.
You're a baby, mate. Yeah.
He's got all kinds of injuries, but honestly, he's the walking wounded.
He's a result of the modern age. They never do anything physically, or like we did when we were kids. We were always active and being physical.
He plays football.
With the computer games and
because I'm injured, because I'm too physical.
And they're never actually active. So when they do start doing something, they haven't built up the muscle groups strong enough to support the activity they're doing.
That's a very posh way of saying it. We just call it he's got skinny legs, but you're right, yeah.
His legs can't support it.
Yeah.
Great legs.
It can't support his ego, his legs.
Someone's obviously told him that if he jiggles his leg up and down all the time, his calves will get bigger. It doesn't work.
The blood moving.
It doesn't.
It keeps the blood going.
You what, Robin?
Still, you get dead leg, don't you? So
you get it. Apparently, if you don't keep your legs on the move, you get a dead leg.
You
sit
there
don't.
bouncing your leg though, and it's only ever your right leg. So you're gonna, if that was the case, your right leg, your right calf would be bigger than your left.
Because you said
steps
that.
In.
He's doing them both.
Get the steps in. Look.
Fair play, Ned. Fair play. Right, is that it, Bri? Because we've got Glenn waiting.
Have you got Glenn waiting? Okay, just very quickly, I'll just say great news about Mr. Rooney getting the job at Birmingham.
Good one. Oh, we did talk about that as well.
Yeah,
you're right,
good luck to him.
He's on the way. He's on his way home. He's doing a very, very clever man. He is. He's working his way to Goodison. That's where he's going to end up.
Fair play, Bri. I mean, it won't. I imagine it won't be Goodison when he gets to. If he becomes Everton manager, it'll be the new stadium. But I get what you're saying.
Well, you know what I mean.
I get your point.
I stand corrected. I
get your point, though.
It'll be.
There you go. Lovely to hear from you, mate.
Bye. See you next time.
Speak to you next week. Take care, Bright. Ta-ra, mate.
Ta-ra, bye.
Brian from Sweden. There, and we have got Glenn, have we?
Just pacing him now.
Okay, what's wrong with you?
Ped just sent a picture of Notre Dame, and I put, it's that cathedral.
Oh, he hasn't sent it to us, so we don't know.
I've got it, yeah. Notre Dame.
Oh, you have your own little private group, you lot, don't you?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Very nice there. He's on the river, isn't he? The River Sin. On the boat that you get there. Lovely.
Anyway,
Very
hi,
nice.
Glenn.
Go ahead if Glenn's here. Let's have a little chat with Glenn.
Cassie, can you hear me?
I can hear you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. You on the business plane? How's business?
It's okay, I think. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I think we saw you in the WhatsApp group. We saw a picture of you. We need you to confirm. I think it was the Brentford game when Garner scored.
Yes, I think
he
so.
ran
Yeah.
over to you. You were not very many rows up.
No.
In a lovely fetching green coat.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
there you
quilted
go.
coat. Yeah. Yeah.
We thought it was you.
I think lots of away games managed to find
They
the
do
usual
pick you out,
suspects.
yeah? I saw you that, was it Brentford? No, it was one of the other ones where
And
you
we're
were
on Villa as well.
Villa, it might have been, yeah.
And what was the game?
No, Defo Villa you were on.
No, I meant Villa in the Carabao. Was it?
Villa
in the league.
Villa, you were very miserable at Villa in the league.
All our crew got photographed in that because we were great for miserable Evertonians.
Yeah.
You know?
There you go.
I'll tell you what, we were a bit miffed that you didn't record the goal after your wonderful, videos you took previously.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I thought that was going to be a regular thing.
Well, the intuition never kicked in, did it? And I actually go to watch the game, not to film it.
Well,
I had the good fortune to get a goal on camera, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
Unbelievably so.
But I'll do my best next time, Glenn.
At Anfield, get that one. A dip and volley from
Imagine if you got
Tom.
Jag's goal. There'll be someone out there who did, won't there, on a smartphone? And
Maybe. Anyway, Glenn, have you got a question or have you got a point you want to make? Go ahead, mate.
I've got a question for John, just expanding on something he said on, I think it was a business for Lane.
Go on,
just
then,
a
mate.
story you told where you basically, I assume you were talking to a member of the C-suite at Everton, and they were talking about the Twitter account, and you said something like, when are we going to get to 10 million followers? Or
a million, actually, but yeah.
A million. Yeah. And their response was, that's never going to happen.
Absolutely right, yeah.
And just wanted to pick your brains about that, because is that kind of indicative of the culture that Everton have been dealing with? Just because I feel like if you can't get people to follow a football club, that should be the easiest thing to get Twitter followers.
I'm not convinced. Yeah, well, I don't know. Are you on Twitter?
I try not to.
Well, there you go.
A few people. But,
Okay.
No. It was more of a case that of a wider point, which is at other businesses I've worked at, it's kind of been like you need to 10x things. Like think of like why aren't we going for 10, 20 million, 100 million followers? That makes you think differently.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
How you should be going about this Twitter thing, because I was having a conversation around the dinner table with some American colleagues that came over, and they were like, "Oh, what British teams do you support? What American teams do you support? Why do you support them?" And it was like, "Oh, this player was on the front of John Madden when I first started following. This player was on FIFA. This team, years ago were the first ones to have a decent website." So this stuff all matters.
It does.
And yet we've got a culture that seems, rather than thinking, how do we get a Twitter account, I'm going to pick on the Twitter account, that's so good that anyone would follow it, whether they're Evertonians or not. We're like, oh, there's no point because we're not going to even get to 1 million followers. I think we're about 3 million at the moment. But I just wanted to pick your brains on that kind of culture.
Yeah, it's interesting because when that happens, and you as I did, it was at the Royal Albert Building, and I was waiting for the lift basically, and it was catch someone with their guard down, and the answer, oh, that's never going to happen, is it? And obviously, a couple of things happen. One is I then created an opinion of that individual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And your question is about culture, and so when you get an aggregate of opinions and stuff, that becomes a culture. And perhaps if you wanted someone to point the finger at, it would be the leadership, because if the leadership don't have KPIs that they use to take a temperature check of, are we doing the right things, so it's a classic plan, do, review type thing, isn't it? Let's plan to have 5 million Twitter followers. Let's review how many we've got, and let's then reset that target, either make it bigger, make it smaller, whatever. But I think one of the things about the culture, and it's hard with culture because we get so little snapshots of it, really. I mean, on the ground, because it's quite a closed environment, isn't it? Is the culture should be, okay, when are we going to get 1 million? What do we need to do to get 1 million? Rather than, that's never going to happen, is it? And I suspect, and this is why I personally would blame the leadership more than anyone else, that might have just been a distillation of a person who might want to believe that given the right resources or the right inputs, we would get that 1 million easily, or 2 million, or 3 million, or 4 million, or 5 million. But that person already knew that this club, its leadership, don't see that as important, and therefore it's never going to happen, is it? You know? Now, in the environments that I worked in, then, which have typically been in the past have been challenger environments, then they would encourage you to challenge, right? And certainly when I had thousands of people sort of working in my teams, it's dead easy if you're the leader of that, because when the guy says, I want this, you know, then I can say, well, what do I get in return?
Yeah.
You know, or the other way round, if I say to one of my teams, say, you, Baz, why haven't we got 1 million Twitter followers? Liverpool have got 7 or 10 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then you're able to tell me, well, because they invest more, they have more resources. And I go, well, I want 1 million. So what do you need for it to be 1 million?
For it to get there, yeah.
You know, and I always spin it back to you. And this is why when I do the BWB stuff on the sofa, I say, I remove all the excuses. My job is so you don't have any excuses for what I might perceive as failure.
Yeah.
You only have reasons. And if you give me the reasons, I try and fix them.
Yeah.
So I suppose I've just argued against myself and said, yeah, it's a culture. It's not a culture of striving to be the best you can. It's a culture, or has been in the past, of deferring to something else. In other words, route of least resistance type stuff, you know. And because as a club, we spend lots of money in certain parts of the business and don't seem to get a good bang for that buck, do we?
No.
So I think it just, ultimately, the issue comes down to the leadership wasn't good enough. Because that's where you get my cliche-driven stuff, which has got lots of, you know, real-life experience behind it, by the way. It's not just sound bites. That's where you get into change the people or change the people. Because you want that person. By the way, the person I said that to and the person who gave that answer, I'll bet you a penny to a pound, he has no idea that that question is him. Yeah. And that he gave that answer. Yeah. Because you want self-starters as well, don't you?
Absolutely.
You know,
you do, yeah.
So I think it when people are allowed to do just good enough. I mean, when I worked for Rolls Motor Cars, one of the sound bites in there was nearly is not good enough. And that's what Mr. Royce said. Yeah. Nearly isn't good enough.
He's right, though, isn't he?
And I think we potentially, if not now, certainly in the past, we've had a nearly is good enough type culture. But if you think about the chair, being an older guy, probably never goes near social media, you know, maybe just was making decisions not to invest in what's going to be the big thing tomorrow because he thinks he's investing in what the big thing was yesterday. Yeah. And I think that's a cultural challenge that the football club has, which I'm critical of. I define it almost as too often the club doesn't do today what it does tomorrow, what it should have done yesterday, because it thinks it can get away with doing it tomorrow. Yeah. And as we all know, tomorrow never comes. And therefore you suddenly find out that the project has gone late one day at a time and 7 years have gone by and you've actually got worse as a football club, you know. And all these little things, they all matter because they're all part of that thing you said, Glenn, culture, right? So don't know if that answers it, but I've done my best for now.
Yeah, no, great. I'm definitely a culture guy. I'm sure you've seen the effect that culture can have on people working in businesses. Baz, you would have also seen it in homes and stuff.
Oh, totally.
Like everyone thinks that they can put up with. I'm not saying it's toxic, but toxic places of work or homes. But eventually, it's going to break you down. I think it's had an effect on many a manager that's been here to work in that kind of environment.
No, you are absolutely right, and the thing that many people don't quite grasp is, you know, when you hear about truly elite sports leaders who talk about how you turn, and they don't phrase it this way, of course, for obvious reasons, but you turn losers into winners. It's all about marginal gains, and we all recognise those sound bites from the cycling team, the Olympic cycling team for Great Britain, Northern Ireland, that it was all about marginal gains. But all those marginal gains, of which there might be 10, 15, 20 of them, in isolation, they don't make a blind bit of difference. But when all 20 have been done, they do. Right? And therefore, everyone throughout the organisation should be striving to be the best they can at their little bit and believing that their little bit actually contributes to the whole. And one of the things I've said, and Baz has heard me boring with this before many a time, is our football club has been too effective at letting managers fail instead of finding ways to stop them failing. Because nobody wants a new manager every year, right? Let's get to the luxury of helping the manager play attractive football rather than helping the manager not get the sack. And you can go up that ladder of not losing games, winning them the right way, and so on. And that's continuous improvement in a nutshell. And there's plenty of textbooks about it, as I'm sure you've read some of them. But I'm full of bloody soundbite bingo here, because it isn't what you do, it's the way that you do it. And the way that we do it for too long hasn't quite been right. And it might be early, but it's actually the bit we don't do that makes the difference. So it is what it is. But hopefully tomorrow's another day, and it's never too late to do the right thing. There you go, on board now with all these cliches. So
that's what gets results, eh, John?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, my friend. But when were you going to have 5 million?
Got to keep growing, haven't you?
Yeah, but what it should go. I mean, we have such an engaged fan base. And there's so much going on at this football club. I think Glenn nailed it with, we should have lots of people following our Twitter simply because of how entertaining our fans are, if nothing else. And they don't have to be Evertonians to do it. So, but let's see. Winning games makes those numbers go up. So
it always helps, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks, Glenn. That was good stuff.
Nice one, Glenn.
Yeah, no worries. I just want to leave Ned with one thing. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger said that the calves are the biceps of the legs. So keep up the good work.
Thanks, Glenn. I have
tremendous
biceps on my legs.
Cheers, Glenn.
Maybe he'll have to start working on his calves. Nice one, Glenn.
I hope Glenn's still listening, because for you, Ned, as a build up on that, Schwarzenegger had a real problem getting his calves built. And that's why he can write those things, because he did all the hard yards to sort it out. Yeah.
Do you know what else Arnold Schwarzenegger famously said?
What?
Oh.
Really
nice one, Glenn. There you go.
Yeah.
Take care. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Glenn nailed it then.
What a guy, Ned is. What a guy. On Premier, John Chadwick says, who's the toughest opponent you played football against? Defender Jerry Taggart, who played for Leicester City in the Premier League, played for Man City as well. Kicked me up and down the pitch. Northern Irish centre-back.
Did you have the last laugh?
No. He kicked me. He was like when you talk about men playing against boys, he was like a man at that age. Hard. He was the hardest. And Nick Tanner was good. Remember Nick Tanner played for Liverpool?
Yes.
He had a tough time against him. Created the golden score.
So out of all this time, you can just think of two then.
Well, no, David was tough. Taggart was the toughest. As in, got played against good players. Played with and against like some McPartland and people like you look and go, they're a good player. Ryan Giggs, very good.
I was gonna ask
those kind of players. But
did he end up at Man United, that fella?
Ryan Giggs?
Yeah.
Well, he was playing for Man United. It was Ryan Wilson was playing for United. But if you're talking tough opponent, Jerry Taggart was like hard as nails and scary, actually, to be honest.
And then he went on to a career in the police. Yeah.
He was Scottish, that Taggart, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Jerry was Irish.
I was going to ask you the biggest name you've played with and the biggest name you've played against.
Ryan Giggs was probably.
Can't get much bigger than that.
I don't know. I mean, I played with and against Steve McMahon. We scored in the Champions League final. That's not bad. John, Mark Mack said, with it being International Week, do you remember back in '96 when Dave Watson played for Hong Kong against England? I found myself cheering on Big Dave. What's the most random international player we've had?
Ooh.
Random international player. Lucas Neal was a bit random, wasn't he?
Australia.
Come in for like 4 months was really good, and because he did well, Moyes sold him. We got him on a free, and Moyes was like, "You're doing all right, but we can get some money for you in January, so we'll move you on."
There's probably like unique internationals like DR Congo and Bosnia, which we haven't had. Oviedo was
Bosnia. We had
the only Costa Rica player we've had. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the only players we've had from those countries.
Most random.
Oh no, because Begovic played for Bosnia as well, didn't he?
But, Oviedo, Costa Rica. I don't think we've had another Costa Rican international, have we? Segundo Castillo.
Colombia, was that?
Colombian. No, I think
Ecuador. No, you're right.
I think he was Ecuador, Valencia, and
Valencia.
Yeah. So
don't know. We've had lots, haven't we? Now, I suppose.
We never used to have any Brazilians, like barely any, and then we got
quite
3
a
at
few.
once, didn't we?
But I think for me, Lucas Neal, just because he was here for such a short period of time, and we got him randomly, and we just sold him when he was doing well.
he flipped him, didn't he?
He just flipped him. He literally just got him in, done him up a little bit, and sold him on, didn't he? So fair play to him.
If you're from Jersey, do you play for England?
Probably.
You can do, because obviously Letitia was born in Jersey, wasn't he, or Guernsey?
Well, you'd be a UK citizen.
But you're a UK citizen, so probably. I mean, any Jersey people don't quote me on that, but I imagine you probably can. Mark says, "I'm with you, Baz. Couldn't care less who the manager is. I just want Everton to win." Exactly. Because that's it, isn't it? It's about winning games. All the other stuff is just whatever it is. You just want them. You just want to win. See Everton winning games.
The dream is you get to the point where you say, not so much winning is boring, but but let's caricature it as that. This manager, he wins games, but
that's because
that's when you want to go up that ladder. Well, we want it now to be really entertaining.
Yeah. Well, everyone moves to that, don't they?
Yeah.
You see clubs going, and you've seen it with Birmingham, haven't you? Today, John Eustace is
winning games.
They're in the top 6.
Yeah,
and they've gone. We want to do something different because we know what we want to do.
Yeah.
You get it with teams, don't you? I remember Brighton. We're going to finish now, but I remember Brighton with Chris Hughton, and they got up into the Premier League. You know, they tried to get up, and Poyet had nearly brought them up on the other stuff. But they got up, Hughton, and they were all right, and they sacked them, and everyone was like, because I remember
seemed harsh at the time, didn't it?
Why are you sacking them? They're like, they're all right, you know, they're out and all that, and they had an idea of what they wanted to do and got Potter in.
Yeah.
So some clubs will do.
And they didn't really do any better in the first season.
No, they didn't do any better in the first couple of seasons, mate.
But people were going, but we look boss.
They played well, and if they would have had a striker...
And then the next minute, when everything started clicking...
If they would have had a striker instead, then, dare I say, Neil Maupay, or someone who's a better finisher, they'd have been
16th, but they had really good XG.
Yeah, well, they did have really good XG, and they did finish 16th.
41% win rate, he had it there.
There's quite a few.
Do you know what he's doing now?
Go ahead.
Chris Hughton.
No.
Manager Garner.
Is he Garner? Yeah. Good luck. He went to Norwich for a bit, but good luck.
60% win rate with them.
Yeah. What about Tommy Wheeldon? No, Tommy Wheeldon. Well, Tommy Wheeldon Jr. is the gaffer at Calvary FC. He's just walked their league.
Wow.
Tommy's son. JL23 says Christian Atsu. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Kuko Martina, Nikita Yelovich, Thomas Graver. Well, Graverson Danish, Ronnie Linderhout was Swedish, Abel Xavier Portuguese. There's blow. Kuko Martina, because he played for Turks and Caicos, didn't he? Oh, hang on, no, didn't. Who was the one he played for? Martina.
Don't know.
It wasn't Turks and Caicos. Who was it? Who's he? I can't remember what it was. It's a Dutch one, isn't it?
Dutch, wasn't he?
Dutch. Yeah, but it's a Dutch.
Born in Rotterdam.
Yeah, I know. But who does he play for internationally?
Curacao.
Oh, Curacao. Yeah. Couldn't think, but it was Caracas.
I nearly got there.
Yeah. Right. We're going. Make sure you hit the like button. Give us a little subscribe as well. It's much appreciated. And have a good one.
Yes,
thanks
please.
to John. Thanks to everyone who called in.
Yep.
And we'll see you later.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.